Hello everyone, my name is Triton and I'm bringing you the second video in my series that I entitled Must Know Joseki. So let's just get right into it. For this, I'm going to set up the board as if it were Orthodox Fuseki. The modern way of playing here is for white to approach on this side to disrupt this area. And black has quite a few responses, but the Joseki that I want to focus on is when black pincers tightly like this, white goes into the corner, and black blocks on this side. So let's go through the normal Joseki here. White usually plays Q17, and black cannot Hane here, but he has to extend, and then white Hanes and connects, black has to connect, and then white jumps out. This is a very common Joseki that you see all the time, and now I want to discuss some of the mistakes I've seen in this situation. One of the bigger and more obvious mistakes is around here. I've seen quite a few people try to play the Hane here, and I wasn't sure when I was going to make this video because I always sort of considered this to be a very, very beginner level mistake. But then I started playing on IGS a bit more on an older account that's 5Q. And I ran into about 5 different games where my opponent Haned here, which is an overplay. It's a mistake. So first, let's see why they would Hane here. If we go back to here, if white played the 3-3 invasion right away, then black can block this way and Hane like this. And here is the basic variation. In this, white gets an okay corner and Sente, and black gets a pretty thick wall. And lots of people know this Joseki, and so when they go to play this approach and are pincered and start up the Joseki here, they think that it's going to be the same. But when they Hane here, this is a really horrible mistake. Since I showed you the other position, you can probably figure out why this is a mistake. And it's a mistake because of the R14 stone. This R14 stone exposes the P16 cut here. So the punishment for this overplay is S17. White needs to increase the amount of liberties they have and make their stones stronger, basically. If black just blocks him from connecting to R14, then this cut is very severe. It may not seem like it's a big deal, but let me show you why. If black just extends here, because obviously if he Ataris and connects, this looks much worse, So if you're just trying to save this stone, this is a very common move that I see people try. And from the perspective of someone who hasn't seen this before, this might look like you are punishing white for overplaying. Because now, if you don't know what's going to happen, it looks like white is going to die in the corner and is going to have a weak stone out here that they're going to have to protect. However, white has this move. When white takes a liberty away from these 3 black stones, they're now dead. Actually, there's nothing that black can do to save them. What I've been seeing people do in my own games is they've been playing this Atari here and trying this attachment on the bottom. The problem with this is that white can wedge here and this kills the black group. I mean, obviously if black Atari is here, that's shortage of liberties. And if black tries to Atari his way out here, he's in Atari now, he's in Atari now, and he's in Atari now. So he can't escape from dying. So because of this move, these 3 stones are dead, and black's position is torn apart here, as you can see. Some people who are able to see that this is going to be a problem, instead of defending here at 017, they try to defend like this. But when white comes back and just takes this stone, this is already a good result for white. So if we go back, when white plays this move, it is possible for black to salvage the situation as best he can, and that would be to protect the cutting point directly. You just have to let white link up underneath, and then you need to make a base on the top. And this is the best that black can do after making that mistake, that Hane at p17. But even this is too bad for black because white still gets a pretty good corner, and white has disrupted the influence that black wanted to get here and wanted to use here, which was the point of pincering in the first place. All right, so now you know the big mistake that can happen in this situation, which is this Hane here. So if we just continue on do the normal Joseki though, there are more mistakes that I see being made here. Both of these next two mistakes are related in a way, but this first mistake involves playing too early. There are a couple follow-ups to this Joseki. One move that black can play is just to push here, and white should respond, just to slightly increase the wall. Another move that black can play is this move here. The proper move for white is just to respond again here. And there's also one more move that you can see sometimes, and it's this one. A very basic reason to play this one is if you need to invade the top. Like this area started to grow pretty big, so you need to invade it. If white prevents you from connecting up to your stones, you just do a 2-space, of course. And if they try to do some sort of pincer, you can just connect up to your stone here. And if white tries to cut, it turns into a difficult battle for white to win. So, knowing that there are follow-ups here, one of the big mistakes that I see is people following up right away at the very beginning of the game, right after playing the Joseki. This doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but there are a couple problems with that. I already told you that black has 3 possible moves here, at the very least. So of those 3 moves, how can you be 100% sure that this move right now is the one that you want to play? The other reason that this isn't very good is that this is too early in the game and white doesn't have to respond. White can Tanuki and just kill all of your influence that you have here. So this isn't really a mistake per se, because this isn't a bad move, but it's a timing mistake in that it's too early to play. And I see this played very, very often. Yes, I showed that white can just Tanuki, but white can also just defend. This move here in 15 has gotten rid of the possibility of other moves in this area. There are fewer things that white has to worry about now that he responded to this. And he may be able to come up to, like if black plays somewhere else over here, later on, white may be able to come up to the 4th line and potentially make some points here anyway. All right, so now we've discussed a big mistake and a timing mistake, and now let's talk about one move, and it is this push here at p17. A lot of people push and then turn like this to get white to respond it in 17, and I understand why you're doing that. It seems like you push through, he has to respond, and then when you play this move, it's really obvious that there's a weakness here for white, so he has to respond and do something. The problem is this push is Aji Keshi, basically. It gets rid of potential for other things. Like if there's a Ko on the board, this push could be considered a Ko threat later on. If they just ignore, then this corner is dead. There's nothing that white can do to save the corner. It's just dead, even if they play this one. So you're potentially wasting a Ko threat, at the very least, by pushing in here like this. However, you could argue that these could be Ko threats as well. So the other thing that you're doing when you push in here right now is that you're getting rid of a liberty on your own group. It's entirely possible that in the future, white may want to run this stone out. And if you really need to keep this area, keep these points in this area, you will probably block in a similar way to this, and these stones will end up running out. And what happens if your group gets surrounded? If it turns into a capturing race, you are 1 liberty shorter than you were before. You never want to play a move that isn't necessary, because all this move does is get rid of a liberty. So if we go back, the last reason that I want to give as to why this push is bad is because it is bad style. What I mean by that is, normally when you push like this, your goal is not to play a move like this, unless this is the only way you can get them to respond. But normally you can just go ahead and play this, because if they don't respond, corner's dead if they try to save that stone. So if they save the corner, then you have a Panuki on this side of the board. So they are very, very likely to respond to this push here, which means that this push has no meaning. The normal meaning for a push like this is to cut. But in this situation, the cut doesn't accomplish anything here, because white can just kill off the stones, and now white is the one with the Panuki on the side. And if you cut on the other side first, you can just connect and there's still nothing for black to do. Maybe if you really, really need this push for some reason, I guess it's possible, but that's still not a very big deal. And you haven't done much to white. You've just sacrificed the stone for nothing, basically. So this is the final mistake that I see very often. So if we go back to the beginning, the Joseki is when white comes into the corner and black blocks this way. When white extends up, black cannot hane because of this cut. So black needs to extend instead of haneing there. And then this move is Ajikeshi. It could be useful for another reason later on, but it's an unnecessary exchange. And lastly, you shouldn't make an exchange like this too early on in the game, like right now, because white can just play elsewhere, or white is okay with responding because it gets rid of other potential on the top for black. Alright, that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. If you have any questions about what I discussed in this video, please leave a comment below. If you like this video and want to see more in the future, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.